You are listening to the Novel Writing Podcast, episode 208. I'm your host, Colleen Mitchell. Grab a cup, cozy up, and let's get to writing. Today I'm talking with Greg Keogh again, co-founder of the sales platform Curios. You last heard from Greg in episode 186 when we discussed what Curios is and how it's giving more agency to indie authors over their ebook revenue and also audiobook revenue. Since then, several things have changed on the Curios platform and in the publishing industry, so Greg is back with some updates. Welcome back.
Thank you so much for having me back.
I'm
Super excited to
excited.
cover everything today. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, because
So
even when we spoke, how long ago was it? Probably about a year ago.
186 came out July 1st last year.
Okay, cool. So yeah, less than a year ago. Well, we've made a lot of changes since then, which is pretty fun. And all of
Okay.
them, like hope to the author's advantage, you know? So
So what are those changes? Let's talk about all those.
I should have followed up my last statement with the exact changes, you know? But so, Curios, as you know, but just to remind all the listeners, in a nutshell, we are a direct marketplace. So you, as an author, can upload your books, sell them directly to your reader or new readers, and you keep 100% of the sale. You also get the email address of anyone who buys your content. So obviously, that has a lot of power for a lot of reasons. With the marketplace, you get direct pages dedicated to your work. So you get a book page. You also get series pages for your work. And then you have a page for yourself as an author to showcase all of the work you have on Curios, right? So easy places for you to land, folks, depending on how you structure your sales funnels. But that's us in a nutshell. So, our main mission is to make it easier than ever for readers to buy directly from the author. Like right now in 2026, with the internet as mature as it is, I still find it so odd that it's easier for me to buy from third-party platforms or even 3 degrees separated from the author rather than to buy directly from the author, especially for digital ebooks and audiobooks. So we're obviously just trying to change that. We want a world where the reader supports the author. You get to support the people that you love who are making the things that you love. So that's what we're super excited to do. But now, as far as new changes go, the biggest change we've got is probably going to roll into private beta on, I think it's going to be Wednesday. So Wednesday of next week, which would be, let's see, where's my calendar? The 18th, February 18th. We're going to open the doors for physical shipping. So paperbacks, hardbacks, special editions, signed copies. Thanks, Colleen. Colleen's has a
Okay,
big
I'm
smile on her face right now. So
yeah, I was making the ooh, very excited face. So you said special editions. That is really, really hot right now, especially for Kickstarters and people who want to sell higher quality, higher priced products that are more like trophies that you set on your shelf. So excuse this tangent and rabbit hole, but how's that going to work?
Oh, for sure. Yeah. Yeah. And the trophy thing is real. So I'm like a pretty frugal guy and I buy the trophies. I buy the leather bound, gold edge, like for the books that I love, and I love having those because like I'll read the book or I'll even listen to the book. I'll read the book as an ebook, listen to it as an audiobook. And then I buy the physical and I put it on my shelf because I get a lot of joy in seeing that, or I get a lot of joy in even recommending it to my friends, being like, hey, this is the best book I've read of all time, and things like that. Or like, have you heard of this series? You're going to love it, right? So the trophy thing works. And then like those nice trophies, they're really nice. It's like, I really like them. I can't explain it. I basically will never read that version of the book, but I still want it, and I know
Oh,
I'm
for
not alone
sure.
in that, right?
For sure.
Readers love those. Yeah.
Like even when I
So.
was young, a lot younger, and had just popped into my head. Barnes and Noble, I don't know if they still do it, but they used to do leather bound special editions, and I have a ton of them just sitting on my shelf. They have the gold edges, they have the
Oh
nice, pretty
yeah.
covers. I will never crack one of them open to actually read the story, but I
No,
just
no.
love looking at them.
They're totally off limits. My mom
Yes.
has like a collection of classics that are that way, and it's a huge collection of classics. And it's like nobody touched these. She's just like, you do not touch this. It's just so funny. I'll be like, I want to read it. But to answer your original question of how it works, so we've got 3 ways this is going to kind of roll out. The first way is going to be the most standard and simple, which is what we're just calling kind of self-fulfillment. So essentially what will happen is you can land somebody on your dedicated Curios book page. They'll have the option for ebook, they'll have the option for audio, depending on what your formats you have, right? But in a multi-format world, they'll have an option for ebook, option for audiobook, option for paperback, hardcover, special edition, signed hardcover, kind of whatever you want to set up. They'll have all those formats available to them. They can kind of choose which one they want. when the order goes through, if it is an item that needs to be shipped, just say like a paperback. If they order a paperback, then we'll do what we normally do, right? So we'll handle the transaction. We'll be the merchant of record on the transaction so that we'll be responsible for collecting the sales tax. We'll also be responsible for collecting the shipping amounts from the buyer. We will file the sales tax. So you're not going to be responsible for figuring out, oh, where was this book bought? What do I owe the state of California or the state of Washington or whatever it is? We handle all of that on your behalf. You still will get 100% of the book price, right? So paperback, say it's $9.99. You get $9.99. We collect the tax and we collect the shipping from the buyer. And then we output a shipping label to you. You then look at the label, you approve it. So if you need to change it, so say that you're like, I ran out of my small boxes, I'm sending a bigger box. You just update that shipping label, it automatically updates. You might be billed a little bit more, right? But it gives you the leeway to do what you need. Pack the book in the box, put the label on top, send it out. And obviously, you can do that. You know, somebody on your team can do that. A warehouse of yours can do that, kind of however it's set up. That's the first method. So just like self-fulfilled. And I know that method's going to be like largely the most popular, especially in the indie community. When you've got multiple formats, you know, you might want to be self-fulfilling your signed editions anyway, because it might be like a lower velocity of sales and things like that. So that's the first one. Then the second one we're rolling out is the print-on-demand solutions, which we're going to be rolling out with BookVault. We're still wrapping up everything. I know I love BookVault. I also love their team. Their team is amazing. I'm probably giving too much inside information, but I know that they're going to be imminently expanding their special edition prints to the US. So they're like actively looking for manufacturing facilities in the US for special editions, which means that the shipping times will be much faster.
I am so
So
excited.
awesome. I'm so excited about that too. So print on demand is the next one. And then we're looking at the third way we're bringing it to life is the auto fulfillment. So auto fulfillment would be through companies similar to like Elanders or companies like that. There's a huge network of those in the world where they will print your book and they will do micro inventory. So they'll inventory like 25 copies of, say, your paperback or hardback, and then they'll hold those in a warehouse for you. And when a sale comes in on Curios, we'll send that information to those companies. That company then picks the book, they package it, they send it out, and then they have a minimum kind of order quantity that they keep stocked on the shelf. So if you were to say get 5 sales in a week, then they'll print 5 more books and add it to your inventory pile. So that's the third way we're bringing that to life, because our ultimate goal, if you kind of can't tell the whole system that we've designed, is to alleviate the administrative burdens from the author. So right now, successful indie authors do everything in the world. They do every job, every hat, and there's a reason, right? It works. But the more of those we can alleviate with technology or partners, the more we want to do that. So we're kind of excited for that whole chain. And then basically with those options, you'll be empowered as the author. So you can say, okay, well, I'm going to go with a print on demand solution. And that way it's easy for me, but I have a little bit less return on my books. Or you can do the self-fulfillment, go for more return, or you can do that auto fulfillment, which is like a little bit in between. So that's the big update. We've got a lot more too, but that's the big one that's coming like imminently. So again, private beta is going to open on next Wednesday. So this will be, I guess, about 1 month from when we asked, once we talked about it. So then, yeah, if you're interested in private beta when you hear this, just reach out, right? Reach out to us at curios.com and yeah, we'll get you on the list.
What else do you see happening in the next year?
Oh, in the next year, yeah, so a lot. So the other one that's going to probably go live, this one will probably go live. We don't push code on Thursdays or Fridays just in case something happens and then it's the weekend and I have less developers handy. So we're going to probably push this beginning of next week. And it's analytics. The first round of analytics is on audiobooks. So you get to know just the standard stuff. I think we spoke about this at Author Nation, but you'll get to know who started the book, right? So like how many out of 20 sales, how many people started the audiobook? And then you'll get to know where are they in the process. So we anonymize the data. So you just see like user 1, user 2, user 3, and you'll just see where they are in the book and you watch them as they progress, right? So you'll get your completion rates, you get to then understand your drop-off points. We also do a calculation on the velocity. So like for an ebook, if they read that book faster than other books, you get to kind of like know, okay, well, despite my 2 books being the same length, people are reading this one faster than this one, which is just an interesting cue to you to understand, okay, well, what about my style is keeping them hooked? What about my style is keeping them engaged throughout? Obviously, with the drop off points, you can kind of get an understanding of if there's a part of your book that needs improvement, or if you even have like a typo sometimes. Like you could be missing a chapter and like people are all hitting a roadblock at chapter 4, or you know what I mean? Like it kind of gives you some data on the backside of things, which is kind of nice.
I feel like if
So
people forget an entire chapter, that is something that their beta readers should find before
I
it
know.
gets put
Yeah,
on
I know.
anywhere.
We've noticed the only things we've really noticed, we've noticed like mismatched chapters. So it'll be like an EPUB file and it'll like fortunately they have like chapter 14 and it'll be like, I thought I was just on chapter 12, and it's some stuff like that. But we found that before. But yeah, hopefully the typos get caught. This day and age, I've heard that people want to leave a couple typos in just to let people know, like, hey, this was written by a person.
Are
you
you
know,
serious?
I've heard that people are like, when there's no typos, I get suspicious, and I'm like, that's weird because authors are very good at finding typos, and they hire professional editors, and like, it's like I don't know that
Yeah.
that's a good, yeah. That's something I
Yeah.
just recently heard. Yeah.
I don't want to purposefully leave typos in my
No,
work at all, like
no.
ever.
Although I do think it's funny. Like I just recently read like a book that came out ages ago. I read Shogun and I found like two typos in the book and I was like, this has been printed like, millions and millions and millions of times and read by millions of people and they still got typos.
Yeah, and I mean with something
Happens.
like that, it's probably not cost effective to fix the typo for them.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas with indie authors, we have full control to re-upload a file whenever we want. And so we have no excuse, but
That's
also
a good point.
traditionals don't have any excuse either.
Well, I know that's like why the traditionals take a big cut is like it's like, well, you should be on this. But they're like,
Right?
oh yeah, that book came out, 30 years ago. We're not going to update. It's
Yeah.
kind of funny. Yeah. But so yeah, audiobooks and music have analytics coming out first of the week next week. And then so by the time this airs, it'll be out for, a couple weeks. And then ebooks are short to follow. So those should be out within the next week or 2 weeks, which is kind of fun.
Are those
So
beta tools or are those fully developed tools that can
fully
be used out of
developed,
the
going
box?
live, like
Nice.
all out. Yeah. So we've already been doing it like probably like 3 months of beta testing on that. Because even at Author Nation, we had that live, but we just were not, we weren't, we didn't put it out yet. It's one of those things I wanted to be sure. It was like, okay, what happens? I want to make sure, like, as people finish, how are we registering it? How does it work? And so that was one we were a little more careful on. So, but yeah, that one's going live. And we're going to put it live to everybody. So I think everybody who's on the Curios platform is going to be able to use those. So
That's
it's going to be kind of
awesome.
fun. So super excited about that. And then, yeah, there's plenty more, especially over the next year. For 2026, our main mission is opening the doors. So what's been interesting is, so as a company, we've been in music for now like close to 5 years. We've been in books now for about a year and a half, which has been fun. So we've done in the last year and a half, we've done a lot of like tuning and tooling specific to authors. I mean, as like Colleen, as you know, we talk to authors all the time, right? So like we're always trying to get authors' opinions and like have them use our tools, give us feedback. We feel like as a company, we've recently like kind of tightened up most areas of the site specific to authors. So now we're starting to open the doors on, okay, how do we get this vertical to just like absolutely take off? And so that's what we're working on a lot with 2026. So this is the year that we're working on empowering authors to get more sales. And the first major initiative, which we're probably still a couple months out on, is we're opening up the doors for affiliate. So I'd actually be interested in getting your opinion on this. So this is the first time I'm actually announcing this to anything live at all, because before this is like a secret we've been working on. What we're going to do, so as you know, on Curios, you get 100%. You get a sale, no matter where the sale comes from, you're getting 100% of that sale if you're the author who uploaded the work. What we're going to open the doors on is we're going to open the doors for affiliate marketing. The typical cut that a bookstore takes, or that an Amazon takes for ebooks at least, is they take 30% cut. So we were thinking, okay, an author can check a box. So they would have to opt in, but they could allow for an affiliate bounty to be set. And we think we would just have that be that standard bookstore bounty, so 30%. And what that would offer would be it offers every marketer, affiliate, influencer, TikToker in the world the chance to make 30% from your book, right? So you can basically turn anyone in the world into the bookstore for your work. So you've got your books on Curios. You could check a box and say, I'm willing to give up 30% of a sale if somebody drives that sale. The complexities of this are if you as the author drive the sale, you still get 100%. So all of the links we output to you on Curios, all the links that are found through the marketplace, you get 100% on those. If an affiliate brings you via their specific link a sale, then they get the 30%. So you would get 70% on that sale. So the thinking is it's not, authors represent a huge portion of the population. They're very, very good at a lot of what they do. Marketing, only a few of the author community, not a few, but like a subset of the author community is very good at the marketing side. What they're really good at is like the world building, the writing, the creative. And sometimes those are different parts of the brain. You're not going to find that all in one person. So we were thinking, okay, well, let's just open those doors so that the people who are very good at funneling people or very good at recommending books or driving sales for books can go drive those sales. And then that leaves the authors to be very good at what they do, right? Writing, producing more stuff, packaging their books, the works. So again, it's opt-in. The advantage to the author is you get to unleash the entire globe as your bookstore. So you're not limiting yourself to like, oh, I'm just on Barnes and Noble, right? You get to be like, I am anywhere that somebody could be theoretically selling a book. They could be selling your book and making 30%. So they're super empowered to do so. But at the same time, you get the email address, obvious, of any buyers. And with our analytics tools, you can say, okay, well, I have 1,000 sales. I'm only getting like a 30% read through rate. Maybe I don't retarget the people who bought this book, but if you have a high read through rate, you can be like, I should target this book for my second book, and things like that, to where you would then get 100% on the second, third, fourth, fifth book, if that kind of makes sense. So you're not giving up 30% of all your books all the time. You'll be giving up 30% of a subset, which we think is something very interesting.
I will say that sounds a lot more intriguing than the normal type of affiliate marketing that I've seen. And wow, that is something to chew on for sure.
Isn't that a lot? Yeah, it's a
Yeah.
lot. Yeah, because they're like the hardest part for us was we don't want to be like an asterisk on the 100%.
Yeah.
So it's like I don't want to be like, okay, well, you get 100% sometimes or that sort of thing, because like really and truly we're like you get 100%. The way we're trying to think about it differently is it's like if you're a high-powered author team and you've got a full team, so you've got yourself as the author, you've got people that work for you that do marketing, you've got people that work for you for doing fulfillment. It's kind of like even at receiving 100%, you're going to then take some of that and cut it out for paying for your staff and things like
Yeah.
that. So we're like, well, in a way, we're still giving 100% to the team that brought about the sale and the book, if that makes sense.
Okay.
So yeah, it's kind of an interesting thing to think about.
I
But
think what my brain is doing is how do I find those affiliate marketers?
oh yeah. So that's what Curios is going to largely do.
Oh,
So
you're gonna find them for us?
yes, yeah, that's kind of the whole point,
Yes.
actually. Yeah, exactly. So when you opt in, then your book will show up in a catalog, and then we will be posting that catalog to affiliate networks. So the first one we're already working with, I forget the name of the company, but they have like their affiliates range from just your average TikToker to CNN is like one of their affiliates, right, on their thing. So it's like everybody. So basically, yeah, we're going to be promoting the catalog of what's open for affiliate, to everybody. So the idea is that you'll have this whole, army, and obviously like some affiliates will pick up other things than other affiliates, right? So if I'm a fantasy reader and influencer, I'm not going to be driving affiliate traffic for the romance books on our catalog. But they could then look through the fantasies and be like, oh my gosh, well, I love these books. I'm going to recommend those. And boom, I get 30% of sale. Like, lovely, So we're going to be outputting the catalog, and we're going to be basically having a whole affiliate portion of the site for them to find what's available for them to get a bounty on. And it's still opt-in, right? So you as an author can be like, look, I do a really good job of raising awareness for my work. You can then be like, I don't want to participate because I don't want someone to piggyback off my awareness, which makes sense. So
So could authors potentially use the affiliate part as like a boost to their sales to get more visibility and then turn the checkbox off?
of course, yes.
Okay.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Because then when they turn the checkbox off, we'll just notify. So letting that affiliate know, like, hey, these are no longer eligible, sort of thing.
That's
So,
awesome.
yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Say an author has some really good friends who are their own type of influencer or whatever. Can they give them a specific affiliate link without having to rely on the catalog? Like you have the checkbox for the catalog, but is there also a unique link that they could generate to send to their friends?
That's an interesting one. I haven't actually thought that through. Because each influencer would get their, or each person, the affiliate would get their own link. But yeah, why I don't, yeah, I guess I have to think that through. But probably, yeah. Because
Okay.
then you could be like, hey, here's a link. But I don't know that you would be able to set, we'd have to figure that out. But I don't know if you'd be able to set the rate unless that's something y'all want, you know? Because if it's something you're
Well,
interested in, maybe we work on that, you know? So,
I don't know. Oh, I'm just thinking of from what I know about affiliate networks is you have to have an account or a relationship with the affiliate network in order to partake of the things that are in the catalog.
right.
And not like if I have a friend who just does not want to make another sign up for
Oh,
another
yeah.
login, but if they could potentially just get a link to share with their friends.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, that's largely how we're building that system out.
Okay.
So you or they could find, your work specifically and grab a link for that. So you could find that, you could get your own link and then just send that to them and then boom, they've got it. Yeah, because yeah, that
Okay.
makes sense. They're not gonna have to join a larger affiliate network to then
Got it.
access
Okay.
the catalog. It'll actually be like a super open catalog.
Mm,
So
that makes me feel
my
better.
yes, my goal is that like, yeah, not just the affiliate networks we're working with, but my goal is that anybody who thinks that they're going to be good at driving sales can be open to drive sales.
That's so cool.
Because the whole idea, like, it's kind of the whole idea of Curios is like, we want you to be empowered to use the internet to like the max capacity. So as an author, it's like, we think it should be really easy for you to sell direct. And we've made it that way, And then as somebody who's going to be good at marketing and sales, we're like, we think it should be really easy for you to drive traffic, like meaningful traffic for the authors and then for yourself too. Because as we all know, like there are plenty of affiliate networks or affiliate programs that are just like not worth it. I think the Amazon one is like, well, cool, it's an affiliate link, but like I'm going to be making like mere cents at best. So
Pennies, and
truly pennies.
they are constantly changing the rules for what
Yes.
counts towards affiliates. And then they have like months where something like lawn care is 20% off or something. And then you're like, I'm not selling people lawn care. What is this?
Yeah, exactly. It's like so odd. And then it's also very black boxy where it's like, oh, well, if I landed someone to somebody's book page and then they bought a TV, I'm supposed to get
Right.
affiliate commissions on that. But then it's like, I have trouble actually seeing if that went all the way through,
Yeah.
So yeah,
That
that's
sounds
when
really
it's really
cool.
fun. Yeah, we're really excited about that, just largely because it's one of those things where I want the indie community to be operating at more power than any other community. So more power than trad. And I think that in 2016, that is completely available. Like I think that, oh,
2016?
sorry, 2026. Like I think that the power of the internet, yeah, 2016.
I was
Now
like,
that it's
hold
2016,
on. That was 10 years ago. I
yeah,
feel old.
I've been reading like all these fantasy books. I've traveled back in time. I just got
Yay.
back, so I forgot. Yeah. Um yeah, but in 2026 it's like I feel like the tools are there to outperform trad right now. But it's just a matter of like bringing those tools to the forefront in a way that is not have an egregious amount of admin, just to even set up. So that's kind of where we're like, well, we can do all these things at scale. So let's do it.
That's awesome.
Yeah. And then, of course, beyond that, we've got your standard kind of stuff. So we're adding upsells, like bundle upsells and things like that. The unique take we've got there is, you got your pre-cart, post-cart, kind of your standard bundles are coming. So it's like, okay, someone buys book one. You could then say, hey, do you want books 2 through 4 at 50% off right now before the cart, or you could do it after the cart. There's different strategies for both. But because we're that full circle platform, we're adding those as well to different places, right? So we've got email addresses, of course, of the customer. So you could have, if you, with the analytics, you could know, okay, this customer got my ebook, they sent it to Kindle, I can't track their progress. You could then be like, oh, I want to send them an email offering them a bundle discount 16 days after they bought the book. Because I think my average reading time is 16 days. So then you could just send them an email saying like, hey, liked book one, you've got, you know, whatever, 24 hours to buy books 2 through 5 at half off. Similarly, if they read in our system, you can set up an automation where you can hit them with a bundle discount right at the moment they finish that book. So right as they get to that a certain moment in the book, you could say, here, hit them with a bundle discount. So that way you're timing it at a very high, because it's like, look, you finish book one, what are you going to do? You're going to buy and read book two. And if it's like only $5 more for me to get book 3 and 4, I'm going to do it.
Not gonna
So
lie, that sounds a little bit like Facebook listening to your conversation and then presenting you with an ad for the thing you
I
just talked
know.
about.
They're like, do you want dog food? It's like, no, I was just at a friend's house that has a dog. I'm a cat guy. But like, yeah.
But it's like, oh, they reached the climax of the book. Here, send them an email saying, "I see you reached this portion. Would
Yeah,
you
it's
like
like,
to complete the series?"
did you like that? Did you like that action scene? I bet you're gonna
Right?
like more. I've got more action. It's like, did you like the battle of this? It'd be so funny. Yeah. Yeah, that's true. But the
It's
other
just a
thing is
matter of
like
like how
we do
creepy you
know
want to
it's
be.
effective. So it's kind
Yeah.
of like, well, we want, but it is definitely going to be in that kind of creepyish vein. The only benefit is like you won't know exactly who, so you're not going to be like, you know, there's a little bit of privacy built in. But yeah, that's a good point. We get excited about how to like change the system. So we're like, oh my gosh, we could do it so much better than pre-cart postcart. But yeah, good point. We should probably see if readers want that too.
Yeah, I don't want to rain on any parades, but I would
No,
probably
no,
be
it's
a little
okay.
bit creeped out by that.
Yeah. Yeah, that's really funny. Especially if you were doing like mid book, being like, when they hit this percent, I know they've just finished my best sequence and it's
Yep.
time to hit them with, yeah, that'd be
Yep.
exactly right. Yeah. And then, yeah, I guess beyond that, we've got, like we're doing a lot for the recommendation algorithm. So, of
Hmm.
course, like understanding what books people buy and then what books they complete. And this is just like all on our side, and then recommending them other books that are going to be similar in nature. So, we're adding all kinds of things like tropes and keywords so authors can start to populate deeper than genre, subgenre for their work. Obviously, I think your works are like, you've got the fantasy genre, and then you could on the keyword side be like, portal fantasy, like so something like hyper specific. So then it's like, well, if someone's read 2 portal fantasy books, they're gonna like, they need to hear about this, sort of thing. So we're working on that side, just like intercurios cross pollination. So that's coming up too, which is kind of fun. So
Okay.
generally speaking, the push is going for more sales with a lot less work from the author, you know,
Yeah.
because it'd be like, if we're going for more sales, typically speaking, it would be like, if you're not going from a tools perspective, you'd be basically like forcing the author to just like, hey, go out and be an Instagram influencer, even if this is the last thing on earth you want to do,
Which
you
is
know?
granted
So
the last thing I want to do.
exactly. Same with me. It's like the last thing I want to do. So it's like, well, how can we do it in a way that actually suits, the community better? So that's kind of what we're thinking about. So.
So that last feature you mentioned, is that something where readers would be able to go to Curios and filter for specific things that they want?
Yes, definitely. Yeah. So we've already actually added some filtering, but then we want to get even deeper, like into the tropes, into the keywords. So that way, I can get hyper specific. Because
Okay.
like readers are,
Yeah.
like they like genres, like subgenres, cool. But like the epic fantasy genre can span crazy breadth. So
Yeah.
then like getting into the details is where things get magical. So
Okay. Because I'm thinking about readers who want content warnings, and so you
yes.
can let authors click something like, "Does this have spice or not?" Or if it does have spice, what's the level rating on it? So that readers can find what they want rather than see a description. Maybe it matches all the other genre tags that they like, but then it has that one thing they don't, and so they're like, "Oh man."
No, exactly right. Yeah, exactly right. Yes. And on the spice side, of course, like we're even like we've already been a little hypersensitive on that one, and we're like getting more sensitive to that one. Because like what's interesting is like I think like romance covers of old used to be super clear what's spicy, not spicy. It's
Yeah.
like if there's a 6 pack on it, spicy. There's
Right.
not, maybe not. But now they're getting like, more innocuous covers for sure. So it's
Yeah.
kind of like we want to make sure that like, because also on the reverse side, some people are like looking for a spicier novel, and it's like,
Right.
well, if you're looking for a spicier novel, we want you to find those and not be tricked into one that's not, you know? So it's like
Yeah.
both sides of the coin,
It's
you
like
know?
people who like reading Amish romance probably don't want to read Willow Winters, and the same is in
Yes,
the reverse.
exactly. Yeah, exactly. And that's like the root of the recommendation system is we want you to find stuff that you're going to like and get like some confidence in buying because it does play a role. If you're not sure of like, what you're buying, it's like, oh, you know, so I want to change
which
that.
is which is why trophies exist because they cost more and you don't want to spend a lot of money on your first read.
That's right. That's exactly right. That's a really good point. Yeah. Yeah, I love those trophies, especially now that I'm going to more and more author conferences and I see more of them. I'm like, oh my gosh, this is so beautiful. I need this.
The Honestly, the only physical copies I buy anymore are backed through Kickstarter
Yeah, I bet that makes a lot of sense.
with
And then
limited
also
shelf
like
space.
on the box set side, I think authors are doing such a good job of like, the artwork that spans through the series is so
Yeah,
cool. I love
yeah,
that. It like
for sure.
yeah, it works. Especially then it's like if you got books 1 through 3, and then 4 comes out, and now I finally get another piece of like the dragon or whatever I've got going. It's like, oh my gosh, I gotta get. So it's
Yeah.
pretty fun. Yeah.
So like even if you didn't like books 1 and 2, but you have the special editions, you
Oh
need three
boy.
and four for completion purposes.
Exactly. I'm not gonna just like take those off the shelf now. I did finish, you know what I mean? So yeah,
Yeah.
that's exactly right. Yeah.
I
It's a
feel like
good
that's
point.
something that traditional could learn from indies because with traditional, you'll have like 3 books in a series of the same size, same spine design, and then book 4 comes
Oh
out
my
and it's a
gosh.
completely different size. The
Oh my
spine does
gosh.
not match, and then your readers are mad.
There was one, I think it was, not to like poor Penguin, but Penguin Random House. They had, it was like the fourth in a series. It was something like 2 millimeters higher. I forget exactly
Oh,
which series it was that I had. And I was like, guys, somebody should have checked this. It's just like the books lined up. Obviously, it's not something you really notice, but
oh,
I
people
see it
notice.
and it's like, guys, come on, don't do that.
People notice.
I know for sure people notice. Yeah, for sure. So, I've got one more idea that I want to throw your way and just kind of like hear your take on this one.
Okay.
So we just recently, yeah, you're like
What
tentative,
is this
like,
going to
uh-oh, I
entail?
don't like that. Yeah. We just rolled out like our version of reviews.
Oh, yeah.
And yeah, did you see that?
I
Yeah.
think, yeah, I did.
So it's like it's not the star rating anymore. It's just if you liked it, you tell what you liked about it. And if you didn't like it, you obviously tell what you didn't like about it, but that goes to the author. So it's like we're really only showcasing what people liked. So it's like you can
Okay.
recommend a book, but you can't like not recommend a book, if that makes sense. Because
Oh,
where we were going with it, and this is where I really do want your opinion on it. So where we were going with it is many times the negative feedback is because there was a bad fit. It's like, well, this person thought it was going to be a sci-fi book and then it was a romance book and then they didn't like that, you know? But sometimes they'll write a review that doesn't like reflect that. They'll be like, I hated this part, I hated this part, and it's like it's not reflecting, it's reflecting the bad fit. Whereas the book might be an excellent fit for a demographic of folks. So we're kind of like, well, highlight the excellent fits, you know, and all the
hmm.
bad fit information. Of course, the author can still get the feedback, but
Okay.
it's not something that necessarily will deter buyers. So you're basically going to be going through, and we don't like fake stars. It's just thumbs up, thumbs down. So it's just like we're like 300 people thumbs up this book. Here's what they liked. So you can still read through and see, okay, are these things that I would like without necessarily like, seeing anything else. But what do you think about that?
Well,
I'm
my
curious
brain is
about.
immediately critical, but that's just me. So you
I know
might
the
get different
engineer. Yeah,
responses. Yeah, yeah,
exactly.
exactly.
Yeah.
So the first thought was a lot of people use the star rating on Amazon to find what didn't work in somebody else's, like a competitor's book, to find out what they should do better in theirs
Oh,
so
very
that they can
interesting. So
rank
market
higher.
research.
It's
Yeah.
market research for authors, but if they're getting the negative feedback anyway, that might solve that problem. But then there's also some readers who will specifically choose lower rated books because they want to buck the trend and they want to read something that everybody else hated.
Oh, interesting. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
So that's good to
those
know.
are the two on the Amazon side. And then there's one on the YouTube side. YouTube used to show both likes and dislikes, and then they took away the ability to see how many people disliked it. And
Mm.
like the YouTube community just rioted. They did
Hmm.
not like that YouTube took that away. And YouTube still has not put it back.
Yeah,
So,
yeah, that's interesting. Yeah. So then I wonder, yeah. Because I mean, people still use it, but at the same time, yeah, because that's something we're like on the fence about a little bit too. Because it's like we don't want the buyer to be tricked in any way,
right.
you know? So I don't want there to be like an easy way to trick a buyer and just like get them to buy something that's not great. But at the same time, that lack of fit bothers us a lot. And then also what we noticed
Yeah.
is like on authors' Shopify stores, obviously they don't show positive and negative reviews. They just show positive reviews,
Yeah.
because they're in
And
control of their store.
right.
So we were like, well, we're pretty analogous to that. So it's like on your direct page, how would that work? So, because like if you landed someone, so say you do amazing marketing and you land them to your book page, and then they're sitting like on the top, like a bad review because so it wasn't a good fit. Not because the book's bad, because it wasn't a good
Mhm.
fit. It'd be like, well, I did all this funneling work, landed this person for some rando to like cut that out, you know? So that's where we're trying to think about it. But again, this is really good for us to know kind of your thoughts on it. So
Another idea would be to let the author choose which reviews to show.
yes, yeah. We thought, oh, that one, the only reason, so that's actually where we started.
Oh,
Um,
yeah.
was so you have your whole gambit of reviews and the author has total control. But the problem was when you run a Shopify store, it's just your own universe. So you're able to actually do that. When Curios runs the store, when we host the store, like I think it's the Federal Trade Commission has like a anti-consumer policy against that.
Oh,
So super gray. It was a super gray area, but it was one where it's like, well, if we're a third party aggregating and organizing, that we have a responsibility to show all the information we aggregate and organize on that. Whereas it's like, well, if all we're doing is showing if you liked it or not, then that's different because then we're not like withholding information or so. So that's where we were like in that gray area, if that makes sense.
your
So we were like,
system,
well,
I
yeah,
think your system would work if you show the number of dislikes and then have a disclaimer that says, like, negative reviews are sent directly to the author and not intended to, I don't know, negatively affect your buying choice because of a bad fit. I don't, like, obviously don't use my language because that was
no,
off the
yeah, no,
cuff.
no, no. That's a good because that's what that yeah, that's I mean the reason I was asking is like I want to hear kind of like your thoughts on it because
Hmm.
sometimes we're off in a silo over here, so we're like, hey, what a great idea. It's like, yeah.
Ask your authors.
Yeah, exactly. So that's why we always do this. Yeah, exactly. This is so
So,
good. Yeah, that's a good idea. Something along those lines is probably going to be a better middle ground, I think. And
yeah.
then the other, yeah, exactly. And then we're one like on our side, we're wondering, okay, with the dislike count, we can obviously have that affect recommendations. So if it's like out of 70 purchases, 70 people disliked it, well, we know not to like take that book and cross-pollinate with it. We know to like, well, this book can exist really well on its own direct sales pages, and somebody can work their funnels to those pages and cool. But like, we're not gonna then show that to other folks. But yeah, that's where we're still trying to figure that system out, which is kind of fun. But
Okay. Another thought that I had was you'll want to make it scam proof. So only people who have bought and
totally,
completed the books, or
totally,
maybe like
yes,
halfway completed the books, are able to do that.
we do already have that, which is
Okay.
nice. So
Good to.
there is an unspecified amount of time that you have to have consume the content. And I won't tell people that because I don't want them to scam that part too.
Right, right, right,
Like skip to this, whatever.
right. Well, I mean,
But yeah,
there
you
there
have
are
to.
people who will read the end of the book first and then go back to the beginning. I don't know how that works on ebook, but they could
That's
accidentally
amazing.
unlock the ability to review.
That's why I love people. It's like I love that. I would never
No,
do that.
no, no. But people
But I
do
could
it.
totally believe it because yeah, it's like there are people opposite to me out in the world, and it's like I like that they're out there doing this stuff. It's so cool. Like I wouldn't do that, no chance. But yeah, that's exactly what we have now. So you have to have consume the book, and you have to have obviously purchase. If you give it away for free, of course that counts too. But the book has to be like we have to know the book's in your possession before we
Right.
can recommend anything. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. 'Cause otherwise, yeah, it'd be a nightmare. You know. Yeah, so that's what we've got. Those are kind of the main updates. But again, yeah, the majority of it kind of stems around, yeah, our desire to empower. We want to empower the indies. We want to empower basically all authors, you know. So however we just, yeah, we want to empower and we want them to be, yeah, have better tools than anybody
Yeah.
else has. And I
Yeah.
think that's what we've realized as we've gotten more into the space is that like that threshold is actually pretty low, you know? It's
Hmm.
like Trad has a set of tools that's quickly becoming underpowered compared to what indies have, especially as we open up like some print network stuff. That's where I'm like real excited, you know,
Yeah.
because that's where Trad, in my opinion, I think Trad has a great purpose in the space. But my opinion is that it's like the best use case or the most empowered for an author is when Trad comes in if you've got a high velocity of sales already, because then they'll help you do super fast, super massive print orders that get distributed everywhere.
Yeah.
And then it's like that rocket ship fuel to an in-flight rocket ship is I think like the best use case for their
Hmm.
tech. But I think that they still exist in a spot where they're trying to grab authors in the very beginning and underpay,
Yep.
and then basically get their work where I think what they bring in the beginning it's easy to find as an indie. So it's like
Yep.
the editing, the cover design, all of that. It's a lot easier to get extremely good editing, extremely good cover design, even extremely good info about what readers are looking for these days,
Exactly.
So
I just talked to Dave Chesson at Kindlepreneur, and Publisher Rocket is the tool to do that.
amazing. Yeah, that's good to know. That's good for us to add to like, because we're building out resource lists where I'm like trying to put at the forefront resources that indies can use to gain that power. You said Publisher Rocket?
Publisher Rocket. Yep.
Nice. And we actually just got back from Superstars Writing in Colorado, and that was a good conference too. Have
What's
you heard
that
of that
one?
one? That
No.
one it was founded by Brandon Sanderson and Kevin J. Anderson.
Okay.
And so it's a lot of sci-fi and fantasy, but it's all about the business craft as
Oh,
a
yeah.
little
Okay.
less than the writing craft, and it's good because they cover the whole gambit, right? So from like how to set up a deal with an agent to how to like what to look for when you're signing a deal with Trad, to what to look for when you're going indie, like how to be an indie publisher over an indie author, like self-publish versus indie publish, like those kind of things, setting up imprints. So like really deep into the business side, which was cool. Like that was the first one that I've been to of that nature, and I thought that was pretty cool. And it's in Colorado Springs. Colorado Springs is pretty awesome. So
And
it
you like
was
Garden of
like,
the Gods. That's a really cool
oh,
park there.
it is amazing. We went on our way out, and I've been before, and I like forgot. I remember it just being awesome. I was like, this is such a cool place. We got to go. Yeah, I went again. I was like, oh, this is even cooler than I remember. It's really pretty. But I feel like all national parks are like that, where I'm like, yeah, like this is nice. And then it's like, when I go back, I'm like, I don't remember it being like this. Pretty fun.
Okay. So we will bring you back for a second half of this. Thank you for joining me for this episode.
Yeah, thank you all, everyone, for listening. We appreciate it a lot.
All right, everyone, that is it for today's episode. Thank you for joining us. And remember, the first draft is supposed to be garbage. The Novel Writing Podcast is a production of Colleen Mitchell Writes. For more writing resources, including Curios, Tally Inc. author services, and the 60-day novel writing challenge, check out the links in the description.